Welcome to Liberty Arts Gallery in downtown Wairika. We change our exhibits about every 5 or 6 weeks, and this time we are very lucky to have an exhibit by 3 amazing artists. We have Jennifer Pentrack, who has painted in acrylics. We have Dan Torquemada, who has done beautiful, beautiful woodwork from burls and old wood. And especially interesting is the mono prints from Catherine Kane, I believe her name is, yes, Catherine Kane, who works a lot in San Francisco. She uses botanicals, that is leaves and plants, a lot to form the basis of her work, which she does on a very special Japanese kozo paper, that's K-O-Z-O. How she does these is she uses these botanicals, leaves, plants, flowers, and we have some that have been pressed by a woman who used to do that as a hobby. And that'll be part of the project, is you will be using botanicals to make wonderful prints. How she does it is she places them on the paper with ink and removes them. Woo! You have a print of these leaves and flowers. The other things here are what's called lithograph. Where it is rolled on, it's more of a photographic transfer. She combines them into a composition. Here's a bird, a moth. Here's wonderful sort of plants like a lily, and there she puts the botanicals. She uses them in the spaces. Sometimes she takes a thin line of paint or a pen and puts the stems on the plants. Isn't that lovely? This paper is deckled at the edge, it's a little wiggly, and it gives the paint or the ink a wonderful glow. When you're making your monotype prints, we especially be looking at the gradation, things that move in grades. The color moves in grades on the background here. And again, you can have a look at this beautiful woodwork, manzanita, a very difficult wood to work with. He has made this bowl of manzanita. And again, Jennifer Pentrack, charming figures. All the portraits in this show are from people that, for her family or her loved ones, sometimes when they were very young, a long time ago, and she took them from photographs. But if I may walk over here and show you all the different bold colors here. See how this lovely color here fades gently and then becomes bold again at the bottom. You can be putting your botanicals in. Here they've used grasses. You can find some or use some, more leaves. And here again, you've got the lithographic print here, just to give it a bit of sharpness and boldness. Isn't it? This project of We Are Together is based on a show we had called Trillium, which featured the work of Catherine Kane, who was a print artist. This binder contains all the materials that you will need. We have a sheet of sort of foam substance and a couple of sheets of foam, and we also have an envelope. What goes into an envelope? Cards. Okay, we have 2 nice cards that will go inside when you're finished. Okay, there is a pencil, and at the back, I've removed it here, an ink pad and a couple of pastels and a little Q-tip, which is not to go in your ears or up your nose. This is to correct certain details that may need correcting. Okay, so what are we going to do with all this? We're going to make cards based on, as we said, the printing process like Catherine Kane. Here is a picture of her, one of her beautiful pieces called a mono print. Mono means just one, single, so when she makes this, she will never ever be able to make another one exactly the same. They're one of a kind. And she uses botanicals, which is, you know, plants, leaves, growing things, mostly. And also you'll notice, again, here there are instructions. She, of course, has used inks. We are going to use these pastels. And what you do is make a gradient. That means that it goes from one thing and becomes less and then goes back into a dark thing again. So here on the background, I'll show you how we're going to do that. Okay, you'll take probably a darker pastel. Don't do lines and try and draw things with it. Go on the side, okay? Not all the way down, but part of the way down, okay? Pastels are a little bit dusty. Okay, that will be the darker bit, and then I suggest that you do the same on the bottom. Press pretty hard, and then press more lightly as you go to the middle. Blow off excess. Okay, and now smudge with your fingers. This is how you get it to sort of fade out. Don't add any extra if you think it's getting faint. You want it to be faint. Okay, and then very handy, and you'll be using quite a bit, some wipes, or you can have a paper towel or damp washcloth. Get your fingers on your pants. Okay, take the second pastel, which is a bit lighter, and start in the middle. And again, rub, 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 until it becomes pale there. Okay, so what are you going to do once you've done all this and you have the gradation? This is where, think about leaves and plants and twigs and things, and with a pencil that I thought I had brought in here, yes, we can use this one. With a pencil, draw on your foam sheet something like, you know, a leaf, okay, leaves. Holly leaves are good because they got nice pointy bits on the end. It doesn't always have to be a leaf. You can do a star. You can make it interesting, a bit like a pine branch or something, so it's jagged, and then you cut them out. Like a cooking show, I already have one cut out, and a star, so you don't have to watch me cut it out. Okay, so what are we going to do with these? We're going to take the ink pad. Now this is where messy bits start, and your fingers can sort of get things in a mess. So let's get things cleaned up to start with. Okay, and we will then take one of these shapes, and actually when you press down with your pencil, when you're drawing in the foam, it makes a little groove itself. Okay, so then turn that groovy side down, and here's where I suggest you take a little piece of paper towel or scrap paper. It's a good idea to make sure that your piece is not bigger than the ink pad. Press it over there, press with your fingers till you can feel the ridges on the outside. Remove that very carefully. Take up your inky leaf and decide where it would be placed. Doesn't have to be bang in the middle. Let's try one there. Okay, again, we'll take a clean piece of paper or towel. Press on there, press there. Be careful removing it because it smudges quite easily. And, aha, we have a little print. Again, excuse me, it looks rather, see, like there. It's a little bit faded in places, it's sharper in others. That's part of its charm. Let's try a star. Okay, we'll put that down there. It's a sort of star. And, okay, another clean piece of towel. Press. Okay, stars. Let's put it up in the sky. Sort of. Okay, clean piece. If you use the same piece again as I did on one, it'll be smudged and ruin things. Be sure to take a clean piece of paper every time you press over the foam. And whoop, gently off. Now, if you want things to sort of look a bit as if they're in the distance, there's not much ink left on here. But you can, if you want, just sort of see how it would come out fainter. A little bit of an experiment there, let's see. And sort of in the distance. And so you can sort of keep going. We'll try a spiky bit just because they're sort of fun. Oh, okay. And before the time runs out, let's just do one more. You get the drift. Okay. Okay. Anyway, you can sort of place them all over the card. And so the finished card, when you've added a few more, will look more like this. There are instructions all the way through on each page, how to cut the foam, how to place it, how to press it. Okay, there's instructions all the way through. We hope you enjoy this and send a card to someone special.